What's going on, my fellow travelers? Currently broke my fast 2:35 p.m. after stretching. It was like half the workout that I'm gonna do, but it's all stretching. So I'm basically finished eating. I'll tell you guys what I ate, which was fantastic for bulking. But right now I have coffee, black coffee, right? I brew it right here. The reason I brew it here is I can put anything in the middle. So I'll put rosemary leaves, I'll put nettle leaf, I'll put cleaver herb, sometimes I'll put mate. My idea right now is stacking a lot of butter with my coffee, just for a lot of high calories, delaying the caffeine trigger. But the truth is, I'm up in the mountains, right? And in my opinion, for dojo mode, sun cycle plays a crucial role, right? And I haven't had sun in several days. So I'm taking advantage of it now, and I'm training tons of hypertrophy out in the sun and going to mitigate a lot of my moon cycle training, and focus more on like work and things I need to get done in terms of businesses that I have to run. The truth is, right, it's possible to run a business. It's possible to pursue entrepreneurship, work 9 to 5, have a family, and still be fit. It's just most people don't know how to approach it, right? I feel like people that repeat the same style of working out, right, the same style of training, never really get anywhere. And the reason I say this is I see guys working out 1 year, 2 years, 3 years in the gym, and the results aren't really notorious, right? And I feel like sometimes it's better to do one exercise right with full intention and actually striving for like absolute failure than writing down your routines in a little notebook and just trying the same routine over and over again. And then, yeah, it's the genetics, bro. I hear guys at the gym all the time, yeah, it's the genetics, bro. I can't get jacked because it's the genetics, bro. I just laugh or ignore them, because then they're on their AirPods just like hunched over like this, and I see them working out, and it's like leisure, like it's like they're not there to train. So right now I am training out in the grass, grounding, getting sun, training with kettlebells, training with bands, start training core again, right? Because I've actually like got rid of all training, so I'm kind of like getting back in the groove of things. So honestly, I feel like just one simple thing like a kettlebell, right? It can be like 35 pounds. You can do tons of things. Like even when I squat down, I'll grab my kettlebell and I'll just like hold it, and it just puts weight, right? The issue is most guys are stiff and stagnant. So if you're gonna do this, ideally weight you can manage, and then always constant movement, because the last thing you want to avoid is injury. And then you can get into like ranges of motion, just hold it, and then focus your breathing with eccentric and concentric motions. Yeah. So I'm going to combine that with band training, work a lot of the fast twitch muscles, started training with katanas, wooden swords, like zone 2 training, fasting. It's almost like, I like it a lot. You know, it's a stretch, but it also trains hypertrophy. And I'm honestly like noticing a big difference in terms of physique. Where am I at? Right now I'm in the mountains, training winter arc. Luckily I got some sun, so I'm out here getting some sun, dropping some data sets, and then the truth is I'm probably gonna get some training done in terms of like actually working out, and I have to get back to work and fixing all the problems that have to be solved. You guys know how it is. Remedy for wasp sting, I would honestly use lavender oil. I feel like just putting lavender oil on the wound like really, really helps. And if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you can grab some mud, some water, pee on the dirt, right? Mix it and then put that on top of your skin and just leave it there and let it dry. That's like emergency. You're out there and you get destroyed. Yo, guys, let's see if the gym bros I know the gym bros can't do this. I know the gym bros can't do this. I know it. I know you there rigid and fat and talking shit. Lame, dude. Lame. Yo, I'm gonna go train in the microwave with the LED lights. Gonna show off, do the same routine over again. Like, have you seen those motivational videos of these guys? Right, like think about the logic. They show the video that got them injured, tons of weight, super negligent. Then they go to the hospital, then they recover, and then they're lifting close to the same weight or like 25% less. And they're like, I came back. And I'm like, no, you're getting back into the same mistake that got you there in the first place. Yeah. What about microwaves? Microwaves basically dehydrate all the food, right? So it's basically like the opposite. Like people out here want to look young and plumptuous, and then they're trying to dehydrate themselves. It makes literally no sense. And also you can do postures like this, like just sitting and you can be on the call, FaceTime, getting your work done. Nobody knows what you're doing, and you're just here training. Yo, the funny part is people think I'm like small or something, dude. Like I meet people and they're like, oh bro, I thought you were like small. I'm not small, I'm not big. I'm anime shreds, bro. Got him. But yeah, guys, coffee with a lot of butter. I'm gonna do another cycle. I did one cycle peptides. I think it was ipamorelin. I was combining ipamorelin with CJC. Didn't notice that much of difference, to be honest. I just did one cycle. I did do a cycle of the Wolverine stack in terms of like actually injecting my knees, my elbows, my shoulders, right? And I noticed a massive difference. So guys, if you're afraid of needles, right? Like this would be my suggestion, is understanding tissue and understanding psychology. So yes, needles hurt because the tissue is basically normal, and then you stab it and then it causes the pain. So what I like to do is very simple. Hot shower or bath. After the bath, go downstairs, put ice on top of wherever I'm gonna do the injection, right? 30 seconds, 40 seconds, completely numb, clean it. Well, of course, I already have everything ready, clean it, and then I do the injection. So that way I can administer myself knees, elbows, and I noticed a difference. That with high levels of collagen, I definitely noticed a difference when I was like training through ranges of motion. But then I went off of it, but I'm gonna get back on it. My game plan is probably stacking ipamorelin with tesamorelin and seeing how that goes, and then definitely going back on the Wolverine stack. Steroids? I mean, steroids, I don't, like, if you're asking if I do steroids, come on, bro. You can't look like this and do steroids. Like, it's impossible. Guys that are 20, that are way younger than me, look older than me, dude. That's what steroid does to you, right? There's a certain rigidness, dryness to skin, a certain dehydration to the face. Like, you can tell a guy, yo, he's dehydrated in the face, and you can be like, that guy's shredded, right? And there's certain telltale signs of steroids. Bloating, it's a lot of things. So if you're just gonna be like, oh, you see a guy that's shredded, and you're like, oh, steroids? Steroids, bro? Steroids, bro? There you're eating your Cheetos, playing your Fortnite. Steroids, bro? Bots. I'm about to show you guys a solid training. This is if you ever have pain in your elbows, right? Or your wrists, and you want to train biceps. I would do lower weight, but the idea is work on the fast twitch muscles, slow range of motion, on the eccentric and concentric motion, and avoiding heavy weights. I'll be back. I'm gonna grab a band. This should actually be fire. So here's the thing, guys, right? You got to think outside the box in every aspect. Like right now, if I was going to do bicep curls with this kettlebell in basically a strap, it would be a complete different workout than grabbing bands in terms of tension when I go up and down. Then how I start the motion, if I pull really fast, right? And then it's gonna start shaking as I go up, it's a complete different exercise than if I'm gonna start slow from the beginning, right? So let's see. This is the training I was planning on doing today. A lot of like this kind of routine. And it's more or less the way of flow because I'm hitting multiple muscles. But it consists of something like this, right? So it's slow. And you kind of like come up slowly, guys. And you'll feel the pain, but you can focus on supination. This is one way you can hit it. This is another way you can hit it, right? And here's where I'm talking about, like you can go fast and then come down slow. But if you ask me what's optimal, it's low weight, focusing on that tension, peak contraction, and then like letting go. And then you can hit different angles. But then from here, I'll go right around my back. So it would be like around here and look up. So that would be kind of like what I'd be doing. That would be maxing out, right? Now, if you're gonna do this, make sure your bands are not beat up, right? Because they'll snap. Make sure it's a higher resistance band, and make sure the kettlebell is not oxidized or has any scrapes or scratches that could potentially cut the band, because then it'll snap in your face. If you know, you know. Boom. And homie hasn't trained in months. What happened, bro? What happened to the gym bros? The truth is, gym bros go 2 weeks without working out and they're all like, they look like Cheetos again. But the truth is, guys, like here, like this is the thing, I like training with bands, because here I could literally pull like short range motion and the tension changes, and I just focus on stretching. So that can be like your stretch in between sets, right? And you can focus on breathing, oxygenation. You can even do like one arm. That's always as well. Like these are all options that you can really tap into. And I genuinely I like training like this. You can train abs this way. You can even train like sitting down. Like honestly, alternatives are pretty crazy. But yeah, I'm basically gonna train 30 minutes, 40 minutes today. Heavily focus on the sun, because I don't know how long I'm gonna have it for. Guys, if you're trying to do sun cycle, right? And you're in a cold environment, but there's still sun, try to go in your house, open the window a little bit so the UV light can actually go through, and just work out inside. Work out next to a fire. Work out in front of red light, right? Like these are all ways you're gonna be able to mitigate the sun cycle training. Like in the most optimal condition, yeah, sun cycle in a warm tropical environment, right? So you can shred is great. I also like training if it's cold and it's sunny, right? Because you can get that cold exposure and be able to basically alchemize the transmutation of white fat adipose tissue into brown, right? Which is easier to target if you're trying to become a fat burner. Boom. Do you even lift, bro? How much do you stretch, bro? All these bots. But now I'm back to training and I feel good. It definitely helps with everything. Energy, mood. I think, well, that's the thing. Like if that, what people don't understand, it's right. If you're trying to run a business, right? The last thing you want to do is 30 minutes to the gym. You get there, you warm up, work out, then 30, 40 minutes back, right? Like it's kind of like, okay, it's sunny outside, you're working inside, you go outside, 15 minutes, you're training chest. Come back inside, work another 40 minutes, then come back outside, hit shoulders, boom, come back inside. So I'm hitting the whole body, right? And then at night, if I have time, I'll do a full body training. And then occasionally I'll go to the gym, right? Like maybe once to 3 times a week now. But when I'm going, it's like full body workout, blue light blockers, ideally at night when there's not a lot of people. But the truth is, guys, Like, you can be jacked and everything, but if you can't, like, you know what I'm saying? If you can't do that, or like pop a pimple, like, what's the purpose? Right? At least that's what I think. Guys, Project X. It's gonna be banger. It's not just one thing, it's multiple things. There's a roadmap. There's a roadmap to greatness, and there's a roadmap to the top of the mountain. And everybody has their own path. I've just come to realize that some people just keep doing the same things over and over and expect changes, right? Like, dude, if you're doing the same thing and you haven't gotten results, maybe you should switch it up. But the truth is, guys, if you had to ask me, flexibility or like being massive, I would take flexibility any day. And then the sun. Without the sun, we're screwed. Guys, also, what I was gonna say, when you train, always focus on your deficits. Like right now, what I'm focusing on is a lot of thoracic movement, right? So like right here, I'm just kind of like going into like full ranges of motion, and I'll do that in between my workouts. So 2-3 minutes, I'm doing a lot of, just a lot of movement, whether it's body flow, whether it's like any sort of static stretch or dynamic stretch or band stretch, because bands basically amplify, right? If you know how to use them. The issue is most people don't know how to train with bands, at least optimally, in my opinion. How do I start my morning routine? That's a long one. I'm not going to get into that one now. But I've talked about it multiple times. Essential oils, no sunscreen? Yeah, I don't use sunscreen. I use base oils, and then I'll use essential oils with high levels of antioxidants to potentially mitigate any sort of oxidative stress I can get from the sun. And then I'll take times of cooling, off the sun, baths, yada, yada, yada. Protocols, biostacking, baby. Guys, all I'm saying is, most people baseline of fitness is so bad. Yo, I'm wondering if I should do like a stretching routine. I'm not feeling it though. Or am I feeling it? Not here in the dirt. Yeah, CMOS is great, guys. Tap into CMOS. I've definitely noticed a difference. I've been on it, off of it, and it's definitely a game changer. And the truth is, you can really throw it into anything. You don't really like notice it. Like once you blended it, smoothies, kefir, juices, vitality bowls, acai bowls. Yeah, like pretty much you can put in anything. Sometimes I'll even put it in like the pasta, in terms of like if I'm cooking gluten-free noodles, right? And I'm doing organic marinara sauce, and I'm putting peppers and all this and that, and I'm blending everything. I'll put sea moss in there, and you can't even taste it. So I'll put the sea moss in the pasta as well. Yeah, you can literally, put in a lot of things and you don't even taste it. All right, guys, I'm going to answer a few questions and I'm going to bounce and actually get my sun cycle completed. But I did want to drop some data sets. Data set is you're going to bulk and you're going to drink like coffee, make sure it's organic, make sure there's no pesticides, right? Because most conventional coffee tends to have high levels of mold, and that can affect your brain over long periods of time, especially if you stack it with styrofoam, right? And they do the styrofoam cups. I've been there before. So organic coffee, no mold, butter, a lot of butter. Yeah. Delayed caffeine trigger, prompt the body to tap into fat, right? So yeah. Also broke my fast at 2 p.m. today. I did some almond flour quesadillas, cooked organic beef in tallow, beef tallow. I covered it just to make it sure it was, like, came out juicy and soft, and filled it with tons of like spices and everything that helped with like digestion. I think, what did I spice it with? It was for potentially bioavailability and for like shredding, and also just potentiating everything. I did grains of paradise. I did Celtic salt with lime, garlic powder, coriander, cumin, paprika, and then what's the one I always add? Oh, definitely, chili flakes and cayenne, always spicy, and raw cheddar. And that's how I broke my fast today. And I delayed it after a quick little warm up. What do you recommend for better sleep? Circadian rhythm, like reset it. Sunrise, sunset, always be staring at it. Avoid blue light, right? Get exercise. Like, the idea is people focus on, or they think like, oh, if I get the last three hours right of the night, I'll be able to sleep well. It's not. It's what you do in the morning, what you do in the afternoon. Everything is conducive to when you go to sleep. And then when you go to sleep, how you do it is conducive to the next day. So there's that cyclicality, right? Guys screw up at night, or girls screw up at night, and then wake up the next morning feeling like a loser, and then they keep repeating that same loophole, right? Weeks and weeks and weeks, and they're like, yeah, bro, I don't know why I get imposter syndrome or I feel bad. I feel like that definitely has something to do with it at a subconscious or conscious level. Oof. Also, guys, when I go on walks, I'm always like, not always, but I'll do a lot of band protocols. So I'm like tapping into like shoulder exterior rotation, internal rotation, kind of like stacking. Oof. Just getting to range. Whoa. Does bronze and silver help? Yes, it helps in many ways. I'm actually doing a program right now, Biohacking Basics in Anime Shreds, and I'm covering copper and silver, like why I use it, and then also the benefits in terms of using it in your pipes, and your drinking, and your utensils, right? Even like how to make colloidal silver at home. Like, those are things that you need to learn how to do, because you can really tap into that. And I do that for many reasons. A lot of it is the antibacterial properties, but also just colloidal silver and colloidal gold potentiating like light as well. So I really like tapping into that, and that's why I'm like also doing like the methylene blue eye drops with the colloidal gold and silver. So yeah, I'm kind of like stacking everything, right? The idea is like, if I'm going to do something, I might as well stack as much as possible, as long as it's like doable and not like annoying, and I enjoy it, because I get more bang for my buck. Like, duh. Like, come on, guys. Alkaline diet versus carnivore, guys. Like I said, there's like no one way. Like, I feel like it's cycling the diets, in my opinion. Like, that's literally, like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I've had that epiphany a while back. Like, there has to be cyclicalities, right? Because if you're eating a lot of meat and then you're acidic, right, and then you have things like cancer, something that potentially is in an acidic environment, you kind of want to alkalinize yourself from that, and then go through fast juices, right? So I kind of like cycling everything. I'll go through periods where I eat meat. I go through periods where I don't. I don't eat a lot of vegetables, right? Like the most I get is chlorella and chlorophyll, and that's about it. Any tips for soccer players? Yeah. Join the dojo. Get your act together. Thoughts on Brian Johnson biohacking? Honestly, I would need to do more research. Like, I've seen his stuff. I don't agree with the vegan diet, but like, I think it's cool that he's like pioneering things. I would need to do more research. I'm like on, yeah, that's not really showing up so much on my feed. How much did you bench, Mr. Belmar? 2 pounds, bro. 2 pounds. I'll be like, how many pimples can you pop on your back, bro? Can you even scratch your back, bro? All right, I'm actually gonna do a solid routine. I'm probably gonna do a routine. I think I might have that coffee. All right, guys. So, biohacking basics. There's a powerful symbol, right, that I want to basically bestow upon everyone in terms of paradigm shift through appropriation of a symbol. So the symbol, triad, triforce, triangle, however you like to call it, but it's almost putting biohacking as the rudimentary level 1 and subsequently conjugating it with the triad, which is very pivotal, in my opinion, for your journey to the top of the mountain in terms of health. So what is it? Well, in the center, we have biohacking level 1, and then around it, we have knowledge, we have understanding, and we have wisdom. So that's more or less going to be like the basis and the premise of like the rudimentary level. But then it goes from biohacking to bio stacking, right? So stacking is when you start understanding what different hacks are and how you can put them together and like amplify the experience or potentiate the benefits, or just get more bang out of the buck in terms of macro time, right? So if you 30 minutes in there doing something, like get the most of it. So if you're getting a detox bath, amplifying it with frequencies, amplifying it with light, amplifying it with a lot of things, right? Breathing techniques, essential oils. Then you have biosequencing. So biosequencing is more or less the thesis of looking at things more at cyclicality at a macro level, as to where you can grab the stacks, right? And be like, okay, for the next 3-4 days, I'm going to do different stacks for fasting, or different stacks for like gaining mass. So you can kind of play around, and there's more of a macro cyclicality level to it in terms of sequencing. And then you have harmonizing, which that becomes more of an alchemical process. In my opinion, that's more or less where I think I'm at in my journey. In some levels, in other levels, I'm not. But yeah, I feel like more or less that's the structure in my approach in terms of the sandbox, the meta biohacking, right? What's up, Bruno? It's my dog. I think he wants to go play, so I might actually go head out with him, play a few minutes, and get my training in. Pleasure, guys. May the creator favor you guys.